What's up, YouTube? So today I want to talk to you guys about something very interesting, and I've cracked the code, okay? A lot of people will go their whole lives without realizing this. They won't have it figured out. They will die either a virgin or married and of old age or a car crash, and they will not have figured out what I'm about to tell you. They'll just constantly be wondering as they die, why? Why don't nice guys get girls? And then if you're a girl, they'll always be wondering, how come there's no nice guys? How come there's no real good guys out there? And I see this question a lot. A lot of girls seem to ask, why do I always end up with sort of bad guy? A guy that's not good for me. And I guess the best example would be, let's say a girl's going down her logical checklist of what she wants in a guy. I want a guy to be smart. I want a guy to be hardworking. I want a guy to be a gentleman to me. I'll explain later why the air quotes. Gentleman. I want a guy to treat me well. I want a guy to have a decent job. I want him to be independent. Blah 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 blah. She goes down this checklist, and then she ends up with a guy who she realizes has like half of these qualities, if not half, maybe a quarter. And she's like, how did I end up with this guy? He doesn't fulfill any of my logical checklists. And the thing is, it's not just like a one-time thing. She will break up with him and then continue this cycle and continue meeting these types of people. And I know there are people who are sometimes have like a serious case of this, and they have this vicious cycle. But for the main part, I'm talking about people who are normal, and they just end up in this cycle. So I'm going to explain to you exactly why this happens, and basically its roots. Biology, science. It explains a lot of this. It transcends culture because basically humans are still the same species, and they require this, at least evolutionarily, to survive. So the biggest thing I realized is that girls are a lot more emotional than guys. They're less logical and more emotional. I live in a house full of girls. My dad does not live here, and I've lived in a house full of like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 girls, all my relatives, grandma, sisters, mom, all my life. And I used to get into huge fights because for some reason especially when I got older, I just didn't connect to them. And one day it got very bad, and my mom sat me down and she explained exactly how girls work, and she's like, girls are a lot more emotional than guys. They don't really think logically sometimes. They just go with their emotions, and even if it doesn't make sense, they just go in that way. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, you don't have a problem if you're more emotional. And if a guy ever holds that to you and says, haha, I am more logical, that means I'm smarter than you, that's not exactly true. Because basically guys are more logical due to the past in terms of society and history, and biologically, in order to survive and hunt and capture food for their young, that is what they had to do. They had to be much more logical, and they had to at times put their emotions aside in order to not be killed. Because most humans, well, technically all humans, if you go back far enough, came from a sort of nomadic hunter-gatherer sort of society, and therefore, because the wives and the females stayed in the village or wherever, and they had to take care of the children and pretty much do housework and stuff, they kind of have to have more emotional appeal so that they can relate more easily and understand their children, so they can bring them up better. And times have changed, but the thing is, our technology and our society and our ideals and everything revolving gender relations is moving a lot faster. It's evolving at a much quicker rate than our bodies can evolve at. We've long ago passed the rate of bodily or human evolution, and basically our technology it's evolving at a tremendous rate now. And so humans, they're technically lagging behind in many ways, especially in gender roles. Now there's a lot more equal equality in terms of everything, especially genders. So that's still getting sorted out, but it's a lot different now. And the thing is, it's still lagging behind. So because of that, we still have a lot of these evolutionary components that naturally react faster than our logic can in many situations, including for guys. Guys tend to get very angry and their temper gets heated very quickly. And because of that, they freaking blow up on you very quickly sometimes. But it doesn't make sense logically at times. And basically, the reason why it happens quicker than logic is because this is like a natural, unconscious thing, and it is designed to be very quick in order for you to survive evolutionarily. Because back in the day, you know, if we didn't react quick enough and we didn't just automatically do stuff without thinking, we would probably be dead. We'd be either not necessarily killed by wild beasts, because there's not a lot of animals that can really kill us, but we would die from other means, either being outsmarted or starvation or other things like that. And so that brings us back to the original point on guys and girls, and why these girls go for these bad guys who are not treating them well. They're not being a gentleman at all, and they still prefer these guys. Well, long story short, there's basically two big categories. There's very few people in between these categories. There's two categories which are, I'm going to generalize as extremes, and there's a very small, minuscule portion that are in the median between them. And the categories are one, you got the asshole who he's kind of mean sometimes, and he doesn't always have all the qualities you want. He's not maybe the highest paying job. Maybe he doesn't lack all of these logical checklist points that a girl would have on her list, and yet for some reason he gets the girl. And it's usually due to the fact that he's not a pushover. He treats the girl to the point where he's like, I'm independent, you're independent, I'm gonna do my thing, I'm confident, if you disrespect me, I won't stand for that. If you do something that's wronging to me, I won't stand for that. And kind of just like sometimes having that domineering role where he's like, I'm the guy in charge, don't worry. And it again roots back to a lot of evolutionary components where the girl naturally wants to feel protected in terms of the nomadic tribe sort of evolutionary emotional response. And by the way, this is all rooted in a lot of literature and scientific studies and reports and articles. And I'm not going to cite all of them because this is not a freaking paper. I do enough papers in college. So if you really want to dispute me on this point or whatever, just go to Google Scholar and search up any of these topics I'm talking about, and you will find articles that support my claim. Most of them I've probably read, and the reason why I'm not doing like a freaking works cited in MLA format for you in the video description below is because this is not schoolwork, okay? I'm doing this for fun. I'm tired of school. Back to my point. Second category of guys. And there's these are the two big humps. Second category of guys are pushovers. They will appeal deliberately to being the gentleman, being the nice guy. And these are the qualities that they almost complain about constantly. Oh, I'm the gentleman. Why don't girls like me? I'm so nice. Why don't girls like me? I'm so great to girls. I buy them flowers on the first date. I buy a box of chocolates. It cost me $100, and that's my whole week's worth of rent. Why doesn't a girl like me? And basically, they are pushovers. And I kinda was in this category, and I've been self-improving to move towards the medium, which I will talk about later. But they're usually very nice guys, and the problem is the pushover factor, the loser factor kinda overrides all of the rest. The biggest word to describe them is needy, and the biggest example is texting a girl. They meet a girl and they will text them like every single day. And you just met this girl and you're texting them every day. And even if the girl does not respond, they don't take the hint and they continue texting and harassing the girl. And you can subconsciously tell that there's something wrong with their lifestyle because he's so desperate, and it's so obvious that this is the only girl he's ever interacted with. Like, if he loses this girl, he's going to be alone. So it shows he doesn't have a lot of options, and that's the opposite of the first category. The guy subconsciously shows that he has a lot of options, and again, that sometimes leads to him cheating a lot, and sometimes it doesn't. Again, the median is the guy who doesn't cheat, and I'll get into that later. And basically, he's very, very needy. He's very, very big of a pushover. If the girl constantly disrespects the guy or treats him wrong, he'll let it slide in order to gain the girl's favor. And he'll do all this stuff in order to, like it or not, like make out with the girl or go somewhere physical with the girl. And he won't admit it. He'll be a pushover, and he'll never admit it in person. And he'll be like, "Oh no, I don't want anything from you." But he's doing all this stuff because he does, and he won't admit it. I mean, I kind of was in this category at one point. So yeah, a lot of these pushovers, they won't admit it. They won't. They'll act like they don't want anything from you, but they technically do. And they'll do all this loserish stuff to get it, and they end up not getting it and getting angry and flustered. I took her on a date. I spent $60 on flowers in a movie. Sure, I just met her, but I feel like she's my soulmate. I feel like I'm gonna marry her. And it's like, dude, you have nothing in common with this girl. You only like her because you're attracted to her. It's superficial, and you have nothing in common. You like video games, she likes sports. What the heck, dude? You're very superficial. Get over yourself. Stop complaining that you are constantly this super nice guy, because you're not. Most of these nice guys, they're not really nice. I mean, if you look at how they treat their very, very close friends or close family, they're not nice at all. A lot of them are only nice because they're very shy and they're timid, and they've been dominated by maybe bullies or something, and so they're just nice because they have to be, or not really nice, just like very timid, and they don't say much. And there's a lot more I could say about this, but the main point is that they subconsciously communicate a lot of things regarding how they freaking are alone and they're desperate and they don't have a lot of options. And this subconsciously communicates to the girl, and she's like, okay, something's wrong here. And so these are the huge big humps. And basically what I mean by that is, if you draw a graph, these are the main humps. in like a plot. Most guys here fall into these two categories, and there's like a very small, like less than 1% median, I would like to say. I don't know if these stats are actually correct, but I would like to think there's like a very small median, probably like maybe like 20%, maybe 1%, I don't know. And these are like the ideal guys. They fall in between. They have a lot of options and abundance in girls, but they're not afraid to be dorky. They're not afraid to show that they like video games and play League of Legends or whatever. And they do a lot of stuff, but a lot of these are not necessities. They don't have to be like hugely fit or athletic or nerdy or super nerdy or anything like that. By the way, it's still good to like work out and stuff and stay in shape and do all this stuff, but these are not necessities or requirements for this category. They just tend to have a sort of vibe about them where they have a very good lifestyle, they have a lot of abundance and choices in girls, but they choose not to cheat. They won't take disrespect from a girl, but at the same time, they're not going to be retardedly an asshole to a girl. They're not going to treat a girl horribly or abuse her or anything like that, or skip out on dates like the first category of guys would. They will arrive on time to dates, and they'll treat a girl with respect, but they won't fall into the pushover category where they're super needy or they invest too much in a girl just by meeting her. And they're not like freaking obsessed with the girl because they know that they have options, they know they have standards, they know it's cool if it doesn't work out. And they're not like the needy type where this is the only girl and if they blow it, they're screwed. And by the way, this is kind of like a aside. No one should have no options. Like, if you think you have no options, you just need to change your lifestyle. Everyone has options. And so they're part of not a category, but there's a very small amount. And this is the ideal guy. However, most girls end up going for the asshole type. Why? Because first off, there's not a lot of people who choose this median, and they would rather much prefer the asshole guy because they have emotionally and naturally a lot more qualities that override the bad stuff. Girls will naturally choose just people who don't take your disrespect rather than a super needy, super desperate loser type of guy. And that's all I have to say about that. This is a very paraphrased quote. It's already 20 minutes long, this video, but I wanted to keep it short. I pretty much went very quick with all my points. I could elaborate for an hour on everything, but that's pretty much the thing. And 2 final points. Girls would naturally test you to see what kind of person you are initially. They will, on purpose, or sometimes unconsciously, dish out disrespect to you in order to see if you are a pushover or not. They might just be very disrespectful, not because they're naturally like that, but just to check what kind of guy you are. Like, I don't know, maybe they'll like be very mean to you, or order you around, or physically or verbally abuse you, or I don't know. I can't. Those are plenty of examples. Like, hey, you're a rude person. I don't know. I'm not a rude person myself, so I can't give you verbal abuse examples. But they will naturally test you like this in order to see what kind of category you fall into. And my last point is that the reason why this is a possible reason. This isn't like a 100% confirmed conclusion, but I feel like the reason why a lot of people fall into the asshole category rather than the median category is because they can choose to be nicer and in the median category, but Why should they? They choose to be in the selfish asshole category because they can get away with it. They waste less time. And if they really want to, they can blow off dates and waste less time. And that is why I believe a lot of people choose this selfish, sort of rude asshole category rather than this medium category. Because they think, I can get away with it, and there'll be more benefits. And personally, I would prefer to say I fall into this medium category, but I'll leave that up to you. I still have a lot of improvement to do, and I think in the long run, it's just better, even for yourself, you'll feel better to not treat people so bad. And a lot of these assholes just do it naturally, and they don't even realize it. They just naturally fall into this because they can get away with it with the girl. And so that's pretty much how it goes. A lot of people fall into these categories due to pretty much how they are brought up and what society or culture they're brought up and what sort of group in high school or middle school you're brought up into. So if you're like the nerdy guy or the guy who studied a lot in high school, you'll most likely naturally tend to move towards the loserish category. But you can break free if you are aware and you constantly try to improve yourself on a day-to-day basis. So that's it for this video. Like, comment, rate, and subscribe if you want to see more. It's completely free. Just hit the subscribe button. And finally, I know there's a lot of girl subscribers and a lot of guy subscribers. So leave a comment below on your feedback, on your interpretation of this, on your discussion of this, what you think about it, your opinions on this, and most importantly, girls and guys too, if you want, give me some advice, because I don't know everything, and maybe there's some little bit of insight that you can tell me that can maybe make me think like, oh, I never thought about it that way, and it'll help me improve and potentially help other people who read the comments to improve. See you guys later. Thank you guys for watching. This has been Will. I'll see you guys later. Peace.